Hey, everybody, welcome to Ask Dr. Testosterone, starring Dr. George Antouliadis and brought to you by his book, The Bible of Bodybuilding, available on Amazon.com. Everything you need to know about training, nutrition, supplementation, and of course, PED use. And if you're on Amazon buying books, get my book, Real Bodybuilding. It's so great. And now, all the way from Athens, Greece, please welcome Dr. George Touliados. How are you, George?
Hi, Ron. I'm fine. I'm going to be in Dubai by the end of the week and meet Mr. Panatta and his crew.
Nice.
The Dubai Pro is organized by Oxygen Gym. Yeah.
Are you? You've never been to Dubai before, right?
Never. No.
Yeah, I just found out the tallest building in the world is in Dubai. So
Really?
maybe you can check that out and go to the top. I don't know. It's called the Hajj. I can't remember what it's called, but I just found that out on yesterday watching TV. But that's awesome. Dubai, Kuwait, obviously everyone knows Kuwait has been the hotbed of bodybuilding, but Dubai now that's where Andrew Jack comes from. That Larry Wheels guy goes over there to train a lot. There's a lot of bodybuilders in Dubai now.
Yeah, and Panatta has put a lot of equipment in there, has invested. Yeah. And of course, the Arabs are very good in payments,
That's cool. You said they're opening a gym that's going to be all Panatta equipment?
Yeah, the O2 gym, the sponsors also the show, is also cooperating with Panatta. So I guess most of the equipment, Panatta told me that their whole room, it's a large room, 1,500 square meters, all with, and I saw leg department, back, shoulders, arm, and chest, all back equipment.
What did you say? They have 500 different machines?
That's what he told me. Yeah,
wow.
I was able to watch 100 machines, but he said he has more.
500 machines. My goodness, that's a lot. Wow. Okay. The first question we have this week, we got to talk a lot because this is something I think a lot of people get wrong. A lot of people have misconceptions about. So as a competitor yourself, and I want to weigh in on this, here's the question. Could you both explain the last contest prep week? They call it peak week here in the US. Carb up, water dump, what PEDs and diuretics you guys used in the timing. So when you did peak week, doctor, what was your protocol that last week?
Yeah, I have said that before. It's a whole chapter speaking about all the cycle and the dieting. But the final week, what we do is just keeping the pills, and we just inject those that do not aromatize at all. So we keep all the pills, meaning Winstrol, Anavar, halotestin, proviron, aromatase inhibitors, ECA stack, clenbuterol, T3 or T4, and from the injectables, we finish up with Masteron, Trembolone acetate, and testosterone suspension.
Okay.
That replaces testosterone propionate, and Masteron replaces testosterone, propionate. But the suspension one that gets out of the system within 1 day, it can give you this hard and aggressive, feeling for the before the training season. Actually,
right.
Depletion comes. It depends on your body. The protein is super high. There was a day that was reached 500 grams of protein. My smell, my sweat and my pee was thinking of ammonia,
Yeah.
Horrible, man. Horrible.
Yeah. So when did you
carbs were very low. 50 grams to 100 was the lowest I ever been. I never went zero carbs because I think perhaps from a little bit of vegetables or I don't remember what, I've reached 50 grams the most, but I couldn't tolerate this more than a day. Ronnie Coleman said, "Oh yeah, easy, 1 week."
Yeah.
Jay and Jay Gaspari and Dorian said never below 200 or 400. But he was training like a bulldozer. It's another aspect,
Yeah.
And fat also was really low, just from olive oil. What else was the question?
Well, did you carb up the last couple days?
Yeah, of course. Come on. 3 days or perhaps 4 was my longest, but I think I was retaining water for sure. After 72 hours, I was retaining water. But I was really depleted, but I was really bulk and round and filled up with glycogen during the posing, but they told me I was looking more smooth, you know?
Wow. And
So I guess when you are not 200 pounds dry, I mean, my lowest during the depletion was 195.
Oh, wow.
I never reached below 88.5 kilograms, even in 2010, 2013 also. So 195, I was depleted, the lowest. And I guess 48 hours are necessary.
Okay.
Okay.
And when did you cut water?
Completely. I mean, just chips or ice cubes, 12 hours. Okay. But until 12 hours, I was drinking half a glass.
Okay.
The last 24 hours, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
And 2 days before, one bottle. Okay. Yeah. But during the first day of the loading, you can drink.
Yeah.
Because you need to stimulate the glycogen synthesis.
Yeah, I mean, if the people have made that mistake where they cut water like 3 days out.
Oh, come on! I mean,
yeah, they do.
You kick the antidiuretic hormone and the urethane. It's just like the aldosterone, you know.
Aldosterone, yeah. But another thing is, without the water to facilitate the carbs transporting, they're not going to get into the muscles anyway. So,
of course. And then you need also to pose and pump and squeeze your muscles to get the glycogen into the muscle. You know, otherwise it's not good.
Yeah.
Pump very, very slightly, just with arms, you know, like this.
And what did you use? Aldactone? What was your diuretic?
Now, 2009, I was using Aldactone. 2000, I used Lasix and was really hard. And 2010 also I used Aldactone, but in 2013 I used Diuretic. Okay.
So I'll let
all my shows I use a little bit of diuretic, but I wouldn't say that it worked perfectly well all the time.
It did or it did not?
It did not all the time. It did not all the time.
Yeah.
And perhaps sometime I was a little bit off in conditioning. Yeah. And I guess it didn't any significant difference because, as I said in another show, you need to be really crispy to use the diuretics. Otherwise, a waste. Yeah. You cannot flex. You're going to cramp, you know, and you're going to be still flabby and flat.
Yeah. I mean, I want to say right up front that the biggest problem that most competitors have is they don't get lean enough. They don't get all the body fat off. And then they're looking for like a miracle at the last minute. They're looking to diuretics. They think this is water. And I look at people that are like a week or two out from a show. I said, that's not water, that's fat. You're not going to get rid of that with a diuretic.
But we have to admit that if you cannot have striated looks, it's not the end of the world, okay? But you need to have, of course, a Christmas tree. You need to have striations in your delts, in your pecs. Yeah. The obliques. Okay, this is casual. Some people cannot do. I mean, the hamstring should be well defined.
Yeah.
Striations in the calves, in the triceps, but the glutes is another story.
I think you'll see a lot of people that from the front, they're very, very lean.
Yeah, it's another story. Yes.
They turned around and the back, the lower back is soft and mushy. Yeah. The butt is soft. The hamstrings are soft. You know, they don't understand. You can look great from the front and it's going to take you maybe another 5 or 10 pounds to lose to look just the same from the back.
So just show me your abs is nothing, means nothing.
Yeah, I mean, and another thing is I want to tell people, don't ask the people at your gym how you're looking. They don't know. You got to go to people that have an eye for contests and competitions. They know what they're looking at because average person in the gym, they see abs and like, oh my God.
Yeah, you're only qualified for them, you know, yeah.
Yeah, so you can't listen to, and your friends and family, they don't know any better. You got to seek out people. Like when people
come you don't need sucking compliments. You don't need that. You need very strict and harsh, you know, in order to improve. That's all.
Yeah. And I always say, find people who tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Because people will tell you, oh, you look so great. And then you get to the contest, you get last place. You go, I don't get it. I thought I looked so great. But, you know,
everybody's great, but it depends also on the lineup.
Right. Yeah. So I'll just, for my peak week, I got away from doing the carb depletion and loading. I didn't see a point in getting depleted and then trying to fill up. It didn't make much of a difference for me. I would drink plenty of water. So if the contest, say the judging was Saturday morning at, I don't know, 10 or 11 o'clock, I would drink as much water as possible up until like midnight the night before. Really? And then I would just stop and then I would have little tiny sips. And I did use diuretics a couple times. For me, they helped a little bit for the glutes and the hams, but they flatten me out. Like we've talked about this before.
Yes.
Massive guys have so much muscle, so
listen,
much.
You know, if you carb load well, very much, then you're gonna need a little bit of diuretic. If you carb load super high, you know.
Yeah. But some people don't cut water at all. Ian Valier, he's a good example. He's someone who he started doing
just
better.
a little sip. Now, imagine that he had to use a massive dose diuretic, let's say.
Yeah, well, I guess he didn't use diuretics for the last couple wins that he did when he won New York Pro, Tampa Pro, Texas Pro. Not everybody needs diuretics. Obviously, most people use them, but it's not like everybody needs them. And you do cramp. I mean, I use Diazide, and my foot went like this, and I couldn't get it to unbend. It was like a claw. It scared the crap out of me.
I was cramping while doing biceps, over here, the brachioradialis, my toes down.
On stage? Was this on stage?
Not on stage, but later after the show, I went to use the restroom. Man, my rectus abdominis was cramping while taking a crap. I was trying to do this slowly, stretch the rectus. Yeah. Horrible.
I've seen it happen to people on stage where you can see the abs roll up into like a ball, and they're in pain, and they don't know what do you do for that person? They take them off stage and give them electrolytes, I guess, because it's a tough sport, guys. It's a tough sport. All right, let's go to a GH question. We haven't had one this week. Doctor, do you think 2 IUs of GH or even 1 IU a day is enough to burn fat and keep you younger? Also, when's the best time to take it? Early in the morning on empty stomach before cardio, or right before bed?
Well, it depends on the timing, so after 1 year in a row, yes, it might have a difference using 100 milligrams of testosterone and 2 IUs of GH, but it takes time. But also it will not make a difference if you don't diet. I don't mean to go very low in carbs, but I was looking leaner before I started my diet last year, even though I was running GH and testosterone. Yeah. But yet I still had a blanket of fat over my body. So I needed a little bit of diet in order to get rid of this fat, so a couple of pounds, let's say 10 pounds or 15. Yeah. You're going to look younger, but GH is a hormone that works in the long run, along with testosterone. Of course, you need plenty of sleep and stuff like that. But again, it's not the wonder drug that works and has results if you don't diet.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was going to get huge on it, and it didn't make me any bigger because I wasn't using.
Well, we said that before. Size comes out of abuse of GH, and this is not healthy.
Yeah, you said like about 8 to 10 IUs is the threshold.
Yes.
That's a lot to do every day. But when they prescribe it for anti-aging, what's it, 1 or 2 IUs a day is what they actually prescribe?
Exactly. But actually in the children, you know how much they get? 8, 10 IUs a day, the children, in order to get tall. Yes.
That's right.
A lot.
You know why I knew that? Because Jose Raymond told me they used to get pens. Where the pens come in 36 IUs, right? Yeah. So they would buy some parent that had a dwarf child had extra GH, and they would sell the pens. And I think do they come in 18 IU pens too?
I don't know. I mean, 36 to 72 for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was like a half a pen a day. So you go through one of those pens every 2 days.
So the parents didn't want it to use it for the child?
I think the kid was already taller. But
okay. And they were still getting it, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if I could have been like 6'5" if they would have pumped me full of GH when I was a kid. Maybe. We'll never know. All right. Next one. Here we go. Doctor, is there any point in mixing test cypionate, Primobolan, Sustanon 250, and Anavar in a single cycle?
No, I don't think what's the benefit of mixing 2 different testosterons together. So cypionate and Sustanon, I would prefer the Sustanon. But apart from the Sustanon, the Anavar and the Primo do not aromatize. So the aromatase inhibitor will reflect on the dose of testosterone.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what kind of cycle this is, because if you're on a cutting cycle, I guess you'd use the test up until the end. But he also wanted to know how often should Arimidex be taken?
Well, it depends on the testosterone, how much you're taking.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, typically it's taken every other day, isn't it?
Yeah, but still depends on the dose. If you're using 250 of testosterone, you just need 1 milligram per week, no more.
I mean, I don't use them at all, anti-aromatase inhibitors. So I'm just very lucky. No gyno, nothing. But,
yeah.
Here we go. This is a strange question. Well, not strange, but we haven't talked about androstenedione in a while. I see companies selling products containing 19-nor-5-androstenedione. Are these products steroids? They're being marketed as a prohormone, and I thought prohormones were banned.
Yes, they are banned. And actually, there was a case of a Greek basketball player who was using those 19 or under stuff
Hmm.
in the first decade of 2000. And later, he was busted with in a doping control as he used DECA. And he swore to his children that I'm not injecting anything. The point is, was the metabolites of those supplements were resembling DECA's natural metabolites, you know? So yes, be aware of these supplements, because if you are an IOC athlete, an Olympic sport, you're going to have issues. Now, there was another case in my office 5 years ago at work, and there was a boy who was using this as a PCT, which is wrong, because actually the prohormones might block you, you know, might shut off your HPTA, and he was prolactin also. His prolactin also was elevated, and now I thought my assumption was that this supplement perhaps contributed to prolactin elevation, that is inhibitory also to the testosterone, and this is out of the question during the PCT. So somebody can use them if he doesn't want to use steroids or he has no access to steroids. It's like SARMs, you know, it's another perception of enhancement, but it's not side effect free, you know.
I mean, also I happen to know the gentleman who submitted this question. He competes in drug tested federations, and I don't think prohormones are allowed.
Yes.
So I get a lot
those
of
federations, Ron, I hardly doubt if they ever check the urine. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Was there anybody busted in those shows? I don't think so.
I mean, I'm gonna say years and years ago, I heard a promoter of a natural, I won't say what organization. So don't anybody ask me who it was or what organization, but I will say somebody asked him, did anybody fail your drug test? And his answer was no, and nobody ever will. So
bingo.
He admitted
Come on.
Yeah. So that's why I'd rather just be on drugs and compete against other people on drugs. At least I know it's anything goes and no one's trying to cheat.
It's fair play. It's fair play. Yeah.
If everybody's cheating, then nobody's cheating, you know? All right. And our final question, doctor, is taking Masteron on a cutting cycle irrelevant if you're 20% body fat at the beginning of the cycle?
Well, I guess it's out of the question to use Masteron if you are flabby. And I said before that steroids are for the advanced ones. So if you're fat, don't expect Winstrol and Anavar and Halo and Masteron will make you look lean. It will retain your muscle without holding extra water.
Yeah.
So just go down to 15% or 10%, then start running a cutting cycle.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's the whole cutting cycle, that whole phrase kind of bothers me, because if somebody's got a lot of body fat, you know, why would you think, I know that some steroids like Anavar, they do have actually fat burning properties in the abdominal area, but most of them, they're just there to preserve your muscle while you diet.
This is the
cardio. It's diet and cardio. It's not, because
they believe these are the lazy. They want to avoid the diet and the cardio, you know.
When I post pictures from when I was really shredded, like, you know, I don't know, 2-3%, I was very lean, whatever the percent was. People say, how much tren were you on? Because they assume tren gets you ripped.
Yeah. Well, it does, Ron, but the number one factor is diet. Come on.
Yeah, I mean,
don't you see the IFBB pros when they get off season? They take so much gear also, and they're still fat because they're not dieting. Come on.
Right. Yeah. So
no matter how much drugs you take or the water retentions, it's the number one in the equation, the diet.
Yeah. I mean, I saw an argument on Facebook about people don't want to eat like bodybuilders because it's hard. It's 5-6 meals every day, but you're never going to.
And also food that is not tasty.
It's not.
Also, you cannot eat junk. Come on. It's not a matter of burning calories only, but a matter of health, you know?
Yeah. Because I mean,
whatever fuel you put into the car, you're going to have the result. Okay.
Yeah. So when we say it's diet, we're not just, you know, we admit that steroids work, guys. Believe me, we know they work, but they don't work if you don't work. If you're going to eat crap food.
All right. You're going to have a body like The Rock, which is for wrestling, or you want to have a body which is like Michael Hearn, which is on stage. Okay. There's a big difference.
Yeah.
I bet that The Rock, it's clean, but he eats also extra calories, and perhaps he can have his ice cream and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, Michael here may go low in carbs
Mm.
occasionally in order to have this crispy 5%. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, Mike's lean all the time. Like, I've never.
Not
you
just
could see
lean,
his
he's ripped,
face.
There's sometimes that he bulks.
Oh, okay.
But it's a different, the actors are not supposed to have the obliques, in the Christmas tree.
Right. Yeah. I mean, sometimes you'll see people get very lean. Like we talked about it last week. Hugh Jackman for the Wolverine movies, he got really lean. And you see some people get really lean, but most of them don't get that lean. They just kind of get some abs, a little bit of muscle separation. Because on camera, that looks pretty good.
Also, Arnold in the Conan movies, he was not ripped, he was lean. You could see.
Yeah.
He lost his competitive look.
Yeah.
But he was a good bodybuilder of season.
Right. But I mean,
Terminator.
Let's say it takes 2 or 3 months to make a Conan movie. He couldn't stay looking like Mr. Olympia for 3 months. All he's on
It was
set.
just okay for him to have this look, okay?
Yeah.
Also in Predator.
Right. Predator. Hey, I got a new movie for you, Prey on Hulu. It's a new Predator movie. It takes place with the American Indians like 300 years ago. It's awesome. The Predator hunting this American Indian girl. Anyway, that's all our questions for this week. Guys, please subscribe to the channel. Smash that button up there. It looks like a bell. So you know when we come out with new videos. Leave your comments under here, questions for the next video. Someone asked in the last one, where do I submit questions? Right here in the comments, guys.
And hopefully on the next episode, we're going to have a female guest, IFB Pro.
Can we say who it is? It's Isabel Terrell. We've been scheduling difficulties because she travels a lot for Wings of Strength and Jake Wood, but we're getting her in a few days, Doc. Right before you head off to Dubai, we're going to do a great interview with Isabel. So that'll be next week, guys. Check that out right here on.
And by the way, Jazz was in Hungary, in Budapest.
Yeah. He did the webcast, the pay-per-view commentary.
Yeah.
And he's going to Czech Republic for that one in 2 weeks too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. He's getting a lot of work.
So this was a pro show?
Yeah. I don't think they had open men, but they had other divisions, the Fit Parade Hungary. Yeah. Because we don't really pay attention.
So the show in Prague will be the last qualification, eh?
I think so.
Krizo.
Krizo's supposed to win that.
The last man will jump in the train.
Yeah, Krizo. Everyone's talking about how bad Krizo looked when he turned pro last weekend.
Well, he didn't peak. Obviously, he didn't peak.
He didn't have to. He didn't have to.
Now he will not peak related to the Olympia. I bet. Yeah, he'll be 80% now. I bet.
Well, who's got to beat him, and who's going to check that Republic show? I don't know. I don't think there's anybody. There's no top 10 Olympia guys. They're already qualified. So who does he got to worry about? He can come in at 80% and probably win everything.
But I bet he's gonna be top 10 in Vegas.
We'll see. It'd be interesting. It's a lot of new guys this year. Andrew Jacked, Blessing first time up there. Samson Dauda. It's gonna be a really great Olympia. I'm glad we're going. All right. Well, that is it, guys. Please come in next week for another episode of Ask Dr. Testosterone. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.